Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan if you're new here, and if you are not, welcome back. I post bookish content here on YouTube, so if you're interested in that, subscribe down below. In today's video, we're going to be going over my 5-star predictions. These are 15 books that I have not read yet, but based on the synopsis and the author, I think I will give them a 5-star rating when I finally do read them, and hopefully I can read them all this year. That would be cool. But I mean, like, 15 books is a lot, and like, I don't know, like, I'm pretty solid on my reading, but like, 15 books is a lot to commit to for a year because, like, I'm a mood reader, you know what I mean? Like, I just read based on my mood. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first book is actually not a book, it is an author, but it is 3 books by this author, and that is Frederick Bachmann. He is the author of Anxious People, which was one of my all-time favorite books. It was my favorite book of 2021, but I think it's like my all-time favorite book ever. I read it a couple months ago, and it has had a lasting impact on me. I listened to it on audio, and then I went out and bought the hardcover because I was just needed it on my bookshelf, and I'm so glad I did because, like, I'm honestly that person. I just, like, walk into my, like, little library area, and I will just, like, open the book, flip to random pages, and just, like, read some of it for, like, a few minutes. Like, just, like, random passages, random pages, random parts in the story, just because I love it so much, and I definitely want to reread it this year. But because I loved it so much, I'm predicting I'm going to give all his book 5 stars. And the reason I think that is because the book is all about, like, humanity. It's a really feel-good story, and based on the synopsises for all of these books here, they seem to have a similar feel. He just seems to really get humanity and, like, how to communicate what we're all feeling and the anxiety of being an adult, of being, like, a person just, like, living in the world. And like I said, all these books kind of have, like, those types of synopsises where it's very character driven. It's just, like, feel good, heartwarming stories about, like, understanding people. So yeah, I'm really excited. The books I have, I actually all thrifted these at once. It was amazing. When I saw all of these at the thrift store, it was after I read Anxious People, and I was like, hell yeah, I cannot wait to read all these books. I bought them all, and they're like $1 each. Oh my god, I love thrifting for books. Anyway, the books are My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, A Man Called Ove, which I have featured in many videos and have yet to read, but it is on my January TBR. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it. And yeah, this book is on my January TBR. Definitely going to read it this month. And Britt Marie was here, so really excited to read all of these books. The next book on my 5-star prediction list is The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Cloon. Now, a lot of people have said they absolutely love this book. It has a pretty high average star rating on Goodreads, and it's just seen it everywhere. And the synopsis of this book too makes me feel like I'm really gonna love it. So basically, it is about a caseworker for the Department of Magical Youth, and, like, okay, first of all, that just gives me such Harry Potter vibes, like the Ministry of Magic. I don't know why, like Ministry of Magic, Department of Magical Youth, like, it's giving me Harry Potter vibes, and I love Harry Potter. So this book's already off to a good start. So he goes to this top secret, like, classified orphanage, and sorry if I'm, like, getting any of the details kind of wrong, I haven't read the book yet, but he goes to, like, this classified orphanage where I believe there's, like, 6 kids that are supposed to be bringing about the end of times. Mainly they're saying these are, like, supernatural evil kids or evil creatures, whatever, but I feel like they're probably misunderstood. So what was the term I just used? The caseworker goes to this orphanage, and he meets the kids, and he meets the caretaker for the kids, and he starts to create a bond with them. And it's kind of like him choosing between saving this family, saving this house, or bringing about the end of days. I mean, that's kind of like the tagline at the end of the synopsis. So yeah, I am super excited to read this book. Like I said, I've heard really great things about it, and this is one I definitely feel like I'm gonna give 5 stars to. The next book on my 5-star prediction list is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I have never read a Sarah J. Maas book, but everybody loves her, and they specifically love this series. This book has, like, 780,000 ratings on Goodreads, and it's like a 4.5 average stars. So basically everybody who reads it loves it. And basically it is about an 18-year-old assassin, and that's pretty much all I know about it. But I mean, right there, that already sounds cool, and I'm just, like, a sucker for a good YA fantasy, and because of all the hype surrounding this book, I feel like it's going to be pretty good. The next book on my 5-star prediction list is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. Now, this is an interesting one to be on this list because this is the first sci-fi book I will have ever read and the first Brandon Sanderson book I have ever read. So if I've never read Brandon Sanderson, if I've never read sci-fi, why is it on a 5-star prediction list? basically because of the hype surrounding this book, and also sci-fi is a genre I do want to get into. Brandon Sanderson is like a huge author everybody loves, and I'd also love to read some of his works as well. And I feel like because this is a YA story, it'll be very palatable and a really good introduction to Sanderson and also sci-fi. And again, this book has so much hype around it. I don't think I've ever heard one booktuber or one person in general give this a bad review, which makes me just feel like I'm gonna love it as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this year. The next book on this list is The Night Shift, but this book actually hasn't even come out yet. It releases, where is it? I have it on here. March 1st, 2022, so it releases soon. But this is about, it's like a mystery thriller novel, so I think it takes place in 2 different timelines. Although I don't know, I can't flip through the book. I don't know if it actually shows you like dual perspective timelines or if it's just like referencing events from the past. But basically, Y2K, early 2000s, there was 4 girls working the night shift at a Blockbuster. They were attacked and only one of them survives. Fast forward 15 years later, there's 4 girls working the night shift at an ice cream shop. They are attacked and only 1 girl survives. Now, what links these 2 cases together is both girls who survive say the killer had said, "Good night, pretty girl." So and now the police are like, okay, these have to be linked together. So basically, this story is following these 2 cases. It follows the original victim, the original survivor. I guess she's also a victim, right? Original survivor / victim of the first crime. It follows the brother of the person who is accused of being the killer, saying the police have it all wrong, my brother didn't do this. And it follows an FBI agent trying to find the killer, find out what happened these 2 nights and link them together. So I am super excited about this book. It sounds right up my alley, super interesting, and I'm really excited for this to release on March 1st. I'm probably definitely going to buy it on March 1st and definitely probably going to binge it March 2nd. So there you go. The next book on this list is also one that hasn't released yet, and that is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. And this book I am so pumped about because I read Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry and loved them. I mean, People We Meet on Vacation was more like a 3.5, 4 stars, but Beach Read was a total 5 stars. And I feel like this book is going to follow more of a beach read vibe to it, mainly because Beach Read is about these like 2 writers. It's an enemies to lovers romance, and the Book Lovers, her new book coming out that I think I'm going to give 5 stars to, it also seems to be an enemies to lovers about not writers, but people in the book community. So it's basically about a cutthroat literary agent and a book editor. They're both from the big city, and they keep running into each other in a small town in North Carolina. I know the girl is on vacation. I'm not sure if the guy has moved there or if he's on vacation as well, but it just seems to be an enemies to lovers romance. And I loved Beach Read by Emily Henry, and again, that was enemies to lovers. So I feel like this one again is going to follow similar vibes, which is going to make me love it. She is an absolute amazing romance writer. Even though I gave People We Meet on Vacation like a 3.5 to 4 stars, it was still a really amazing book, and I see why everybody loved it. The next book on my list is Dial A for Aunties, which was also featured in my Goodreads video of a book I really want to read. And every review I've seen on this book has been positive 5-star reviews. It just seems like a really funny book. I'm just going to read you directly from what it says on Goodreads because I feel like once I read this to you, you'll just understand why I think I'm going to rate it 5 stars. And is what happens when you mix 1 accidental murder with 2,000 wedding guests and then toss in a possible curse on 3 generations of an immigrant Chinese-Indonesian family. You get 4 meddling Asian aunties coming to the rescue. But things go from inconvenient to downright torturous when Meddy's great college love and biggest heartbreak makes a surprise appearance amid the wedding chaos. Is it possible to escape murder charges, charm her ex-boyfriend back into her life, and pull off a stunning wedding all in one weekend? Does that not sound like a really fun read, a really satisfying read, funny, just everything I want in a book, I feel like is going to be in this book, and I am so pumped to read it. The sequel is coming out, I believe, in March or February, so I want to read it soon so I can read the sequel. The next book on my 5-star prediction list is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, and I'm not gonna lie, this is basically on my 5-star prediction list based on the hype. I mean, every single person, I think I've only seen 1 negative review of this book, and the people were like, oh, it's not even a bad book, I just feel like it wasn't for me because I don't like Greek mythology. So I mean, basically that's not a terrible review, you know what I mean? Every review I've seen of this is amazing. This book came out a little bit ago, but it's definitely stood the test of time because people just keep recommending it and recommending it all over BookTube, all over Book Talk, and I'm pretty excited. It is a Greek mythology retelling about Achilles, and that's pretty much all I know about it. Again, this is mainly on this list because of the hype behind it, and the hype behind Madeline Miller. So I'm pretty excited to read this year, and we'll see if it is a 5-star read or not. The next book on this list is Midnight Stem by Stephanie Meyer. I cannot believe I have not read this book yet because I love Twilight. I'm obsessed with Twilight. I'm a total Twihard. You're probably like, you're a fake fan because this came out like 2 years ago and you still haven't read it. I know, but it's a big book, okay? That's why I haven't read it yet. It's a big fucking book, but I am so excited to read this book. It's definitely gonna be 5 stars because every Twilight book I have read, including the Brie Tanner novella, has been 5 stars for me. They're just amazing. I breeze through them so quickly, even though that they're big. And the way I describe Twilight is like the chocolate cake of reading, right? Like, to me, this is just like eating chocolate cake. It's like trash book, right? It's like trashy YA, but it's just so good, and I just love it. It gives me all the feels. Twilight is like one of those books, because I watched the movies so many times and read the books too. Like, when I read the books, I can just like instantly get transported into that world. And I've never found a book series or just a book in general quite like Twilight, where I can just instantly jump into the world and forget everything around me and just feel like I'm actually there. So I'm super excited to read this book, and I know I cannot believe I haven't read it yet either. The next book in this list is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And this book is about a surfer family in the 1980s. They're super rich and they throw a big summer party every year. And that's pretty much the premise of the book. It takes place over a 24-hour time period, but I believe there's flashbacks in it as well. And the plot isn't something I would automatically read and be like, oh, I think that's going to be a 5-star read. But because it's Taylor Jenkins Reid, that is why it's on the list. If you read the plot to Daisy Jones and the Six, if you read the synopsis to The Seven Husbands and Evelyn Hugo, none of those really seem to me like they're going to be 5-star reads. And then you read them and you're like, holy shit, this is the best book I've ever read in my life. She is just such an amazing author. I love her stories. They're so captivating. I love the characters that she writes. So if this is anything like those 2 previous books that I read by her, I think it'll definitely be an easy 5 stars. Although, is this going to be a different reading experience for me? Because the first 2 books I listened to her, Daisy Jones and Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I read both of those on audio, and this one I'll be reading physically, so I'm kind of curious to see if that's going to change my perspective of her writing, or if it's going to be just as good read physically. I know that probably doesn't matter at all, but I don't know. We'll see. The next book on this list is another book that I don't have with me physically because it hasn't come out yet, and that is The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is the 3rd and final book in the Inheritance Games trilogy. I'm not going to say what The Final Gambit is about because I don't want to ruin the previous 2 books, but I'll tell you what the first book is about, which is the Inheritance Games. I have it right here. I would totally take it out, but like I don't want to ruin my whole like Funko Pop thing because it is a bitch to get these to stand and not knock over like dominoes. But basically the Inheritance Games is about our main character, Avery, and she inherits $1 billion from this billionaire when he dies, and she has no idea who he is or who his family is. She's just like, what the fuck? Like, why? What is happening? But the catch to this $1 billion inheritance, well, it's actually, I think, multi-billions, but whatever. The catch to this inheritance is that she must live in his house for a full year with his family that was just disinherited. So that is what the story is about. It is a trilogy. It's just like, there's romance in it, there's mystery in it, and it's just such like a good like book series. If you like the movie Knives Out, you'll definitely like this. And I loved Knives Out, and this is basically just like Knives Out vibes for 3 books. So basically, I'm obsessed. The next book is Finley Donovan is Doing Fine. I believe that's the title of it. I just literally wrote down Finley Donovan on here because I'm lazy, I guess. I don't know. But the sequel to this book, I believe, is coming out in February, so I really want to read this book soon. And basically, this is about a single mom of 2. I know she's a struggling writer, and she goes to meet her agent at a Panera, and they're just like talking, I believe, about the plot of her book. Someone overhears her and thinks she is an assassin, and they leave a note in her like bag or something saying like, will you murder my husband? And that's like really all I know about the book, is that she's not an assassin, but someone's trying to hire her to murder somebody. And it just sounds like a really like funny time. Like everyone I've seen who reviews this book just says it's really funny and it's a cozy mystery, and it just sounds like something that's up my alley because it's like a mystery, but it's like fun and not so serious and dark and twisted. And maybe there's a little bit of that in there, but it mostly seems like fun and a light-hearted mystery. So I'm really excited to read this one, and it seems like one that I'll definitely give 5 stars to. It kind of gives me like the Dial A for Aunties vibes, like not in the storyline, but just like in that realm, you know what I mean? Like that realm, like humorous murder mystery. seems like an easy 5 stars. The next book on this list, in number 13 position, although these are really not ranked in any particular order, is Love on the Brain by Hazelwood. She is the author of The Love Hypothesis, and oh my god, The Love Hypothesis, that book was fucking amazing. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. It's my new favorite comfort romance of ever. I just want to reread it like every single month. Like, it is so good. And that was her debut novel. This next one, Love on the Brain, is her second book. And if it is anything like The Love Hypothesis, I feel like I'm definitely gonna love it. I don't know the full synopsis of this one. I know it's about a woman who is in STEM, which we love that. We love to see it. And it's also enemies to lovers. Like, there's so many things in this book like that I just love. Like, enemies to lovers, I love that fucking trope. I love the first book that she ever wrote. So like, she's writing about my favorite trope, and it's just like, oh my god, it just has to be a 5-star read. Love, love, love her writing. The next book on this list is Asa Spades, and the reason that's on this list is a very short sentence, and that is what everybody says when they talk about this book, and that is Gossip Girl meets Get Out. Gossip Girl is one of my all-time favorite TV shows, and Get Out is another like all-time favorite movie. That was such a good fucking movie. And like, so you're taking like my two favorite things and you're putting them together. You're telling me like I'm not gonna give it 5 stars? And the very last book that is on this list is probably one you've never really seen shown on booktube before, but that is Darkly Dreaming Dexter by Jeff Lindsay. Oh my god, I saw this at a thrift store and I was like, what the fuck is that? I had no idea that Dexter, the series, was based on books. My mind was blown, so I obviously had to buy it. I know I just said Gossip Girl is like one of my all-time favorite shows, but like Dexter is one of my all-time favorite shows too. Like, if I had to pick 3 all-time favorite shows, it would go number 1 Dexter, number 2 The Office, and number 3 Gossip Girl. I am so pumped to read this book. I really hope it is as good. Why can I not talk? I feel like that's a tongue twister. I hope it is as good. I hope it is as good as the TV show, because I fucking love the TV show, and the reboot that came out, Dexter New Blood, holy shit, it is amazing. But like, we're not going to talk about the finale. We're not going to talk about the fucking finale of that show, because that show made me so fucking angry when the finale happened. But like every other episode, the first 9 episodes of Dexter New Blood, oh my god. And just like the whole Dexter series is, I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited to read the book. And this just has to be 5 stars, because like, why would I not give this 5 stars when I'm utterly obsessed with the TV show? So that is the end of my 5-star prediction list. I will hope to read all these books this year, and we will see, were my 5-star predictions right or were they wrong? Hopefully they're all right, because I'm really excited about all these books, and it's really disappointing when you're like super pumped about a book and then it turns out to be trash. So I'm really hoping I'm right about these books. But yeah, if you guys are interested in my videos, if you liked this, subscribe down below so you can see more of my content. I post twice a week here on this channel. I also have another channel that I post like once or twice a week on, and that is my main channel. Well, not my main channel, I just have like the most subs on that channel, and basically it is all about reselling. I am a full-time Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari seller, so if you want to learn how to make some side money by selling used clothes online, you should check out my other channel, because I talk about brands and like sold prices, styles, all that stuff, how to make money easy from home online. So yeah, if you're interested, that will also be down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!